Tiefonia Shafu Mubia Kwaba Edba Alpha 1G channel. So, Meso say Nesona Oshaya, or subscribe to YouTube channel, Nafi like video no. Neshe Emma Afufroso, any video ni binshe. Ne last Saturday na MPP for Super Delegate Conference Baso, Achase Kuya Sena Kennedy Agyapong Ebuofua or threatened Bawumia ne Kufuado no. Nebusafu ise ameka say de Bawumia ejagu ni chimpa. Ija no din guni chim. Achase Kennedy Agyapong say on the obe taking it down. Ne Kufuado ni na. Na ye asimwe ho so na eduze tamaklo enso ababontin edin simbia betudwa say MPP a party bia omo violence party. Just also chirimu say elections ba so ya omo super delegate conference ya no planned work bia o maye dada. Enya afi na omo also ma plan dada enim say abaya ye betu nipa wi ne also we ni nipa wi wo say ni say nenti wa hwe say Alan and party echi saa na mokohwe Alan percentage abasa o say ya de o ma plan ya maye dada nti abusa fo nsem okeka ho na no de mpa bepese wa beka mo ni akoti audio ni mo nsem aba ne ba de obi aso de beto aso MMA refi so subscribe to YouTube channel now obe click on notification bell no so de be ya drop video bia nso be nya akonya hwe video bi so afọ kam ho ni ngoti audio ni mbra.
Legal Directorate of the NDC, from your sideline observations, are you worried? And what sort of worry is that?
Very well. So, I think generally the so-called super delegates of the MP.
It's not. It's in the Constitution.
Please, calm down.
The
so-called super delegates of the MPP have basically decided to select or elect one of the fruits of the poisonous tree. Yes. So effectively, they have only put before Ghanaians one of the fruits of the poisonous tree that Akufo-Addo has created. And so I am not surprised with what has happened. The leadership of MPP under Akufo-Addo Bawumia, from the very time he took over the MPP, is one of intimidation and violence. If you look within the 10 years that the MPP has been under the control, direction of Akufo-Addo, the MPP had been turned into a party of thugs and thugging.
How so?
As leader in opposition and having become president, what he had used the MPP for is staggering, violence. At a point, the MPP headquarters had become a signpost of violence. And so that is the record, and that record cannot be whitewashed. That said, if you look at what has happened, in fact, on Saturday, you will notice that the whole system was engineered to favor Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
How?
Look, there are 10 aspirants. 9 out of the 10 wrote a petition to the National Council and said, listen, we are going into an election. The first time we tried the super delegate system was in 2014. The record will show that 9 MPs in Ashanti region who openly campaigned for Alan, after the 2014 primaries, they became the subject. They were targeted by the Akufo-Addo people. With this background, let all the delegates come to a particular point so that they cannot be targeted, or the regions cannot be targeted. So when you do the poll at one central location, it helps. 9 petitioned. 1, the establishment candidate, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, did not partake in the petition because the status quo favors him. At the end of the day, the National Council refused the petition and said it was baseless claim, and went ahead and allowed the system that favors the establishment candidate, Dr. Mahamudu, Bawumia.
So you're saying there's a certain history?
So there's a certain history. Why? What is the outcome? We have seen people being beaten, the Northeast. And remember that Northeast happens to be the region of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I have seen a video where the Upper West Regional Minister was openly warning the regional police that he is in charge and not them. That is the level of impunity that Akufo-Addo has turned Ghana and the NPP into. So the record shows that the NPP has now made violence part of their politics, and it is going to be so. You remember famously the Akufo-Addo Yena Kamfo in Etiwa, Yechiro Mubibi Kakra.
Okay.
That is his make.
What has that got to do with this election?
No, it is part of his make, political make, violence, thuggery, intimidation. And that is how he had ruled this country, almost at the point where you can describe the country as having a culture of silence. But you see, if you look at the details, and I want us to examine the details relative to performance, individual performances. At the end of the day, Bawumia came out with almost 68% of the delegates. Poll watchers and pollsters said he was going to do about 70-something%. He ended up doing 68, if I'm correct. So what it means, that the establishment candidate has about no less than 30% of the elite of the NPP opposed to his candidature. And for me, this is very serious.
You're saying that's very instructive.
Very instructive. You see,
Also,
the super delegates, so-called, are supposed to reflect the higher decision-making body beyond NEC and all those things relative to these presidential primaries. Then it is open to the generality. Now, if these people who are supposed to be filters, because they are supposed to filter the number, if these filters, the elites, over 30% are opposed to the establishment candidate, what it tells you is that this is a disaster of a candidate in waiting.
Who?
And I am pleased that it has turned this way. What is the record? When Nana Danko Akufo-Addo was put together for the 2014 MPP super delegates, he came out with 81.28%. 81.28%. That was his record. Today, if after a little over 8 years, the person that you have ruled this country with, the man you claim, his brain is what you have used for governance. If your own super delegates, over 32% are opposed to his candidature to even lead the MPP, how much more Ghana?
You're saying that is worrying.
And pleasing to us. Because to even have 20% of your core support opposed to your candidature, that should be concerning. But of course, it is said that he who the gods want to destroy, they will first make you mad. And so the madness is going to continue till it gets to where it has to get to. But you see, I have listened to Hobson Adoye. And Hobson makes a very instructive comment. He said, let us be worried about the IMF money. They have paid monies. They have paid monies. Hobson Adoye, and I'm quoting him. Today, just this morning, a while ago, and I was writing. Nana Hinto again makes a very instructive comment. He said, appointees of Mr. Akufo-Addo decided to manipulate the super delegates by sharing monies that they have not earned, unquote.
Yeah.
Monies that they have not earned. If an appointee is spending money that he had not earned, that's stolen funds. Prima facie. So Nano Hinto is a very respected, seasoned. In fact, he rose to the point of becoming General Secretary,
okay.
the Chief Administrator of the MPP. He made the point on public platform like TV3 that appointees of Mr. Akufo-Addo use monies that they have not earned to support the candidature of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. This is not me. This is an MPP former General Secretary saying it. And he made the point that this is not the MPP that they have built. Obviously, it is not only Ghana that Akufo-Addo has destroyed, but even the MPP in terms of his credibility.
Just because of what Mr. Ohininto said?
Ohininto, between the two of us, even my brother Kofi, if you rank them, Ohininto's view carries weight, having risen to the point of General Secretary of the MPP. If we are beginning to use Ghana's money to the point that we are even being told that we should be worried about the IMF money, these are very serious matters. The IMF that we went on our knees begging.
Are you not ashamed?
That this is it. We are being told that we should be worried about the IMF money. And all citizens of this country should be worried this morning about the happenings on Saturday and how money was used to achieve a particular outcome. You are a media man. I saw you when Hobson was talking. You were there.
Yes, I was.
I saw the video. I saw you there. Were you allowed into the voting center?
Yes, there was a perimeter that was created. No, it's not like the usual voting period where you are closer to the voting structure or the booth. So there was a perimeter. And actually, at the headquarters, we were a bit restricted than usual.
So, the political party that claimed development in freedom, even media men. So, the whole idea is to ensure that you cannot report accurately what really transpired. And as a media man, you should be worried. Because one of the things that has really shaped this 1992 constitution is the freedom and the opportunity given to media men to cover such, events. We have seen a situation where that particular thing was not allowed in the... What is it that they were hiding? What is it that they didn't want you media men to report to Ghanaians ultimately? The MPP, beyond normalizing violence in this last, super delegates conference, have also demonstrated that they do not have the development of this country at heart. Look, and so I will conclude here.
Please do.
This Akufo-Addo Bawumia toxic cocktail of incompetence, toxic cocktail of incompetence, recklessness, unbridled borrowing is what today has resulted in the destruction of the Ghanaian economy. No doubt. They themselves admit that they have destroyed the economy and that the economy is not in the shape that they took over in 2017. Now, the very person, the poster boy of the economy, the person who has superintended on the destruction of this economy, the super delegates go and say, he's the one that we want to lead us. The net result is that even the super delegates have elected upon themselves to insult the sensibilities of Ghanaians.
But that's democracy.
It is not about how democratic is it, but it is about insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians. It's like saying, we don't care what you Ghanaians say. We are happy Bawumia and Akufo-Addo have destroyed the economy. They are the ones that we want. To hell with you. We await them.
Okay. There's a video of the regional minister of, I believe it has to be Dr. Salifu. And if we can play that video, and I'll ask a question of Mr. Tonto right here. So, Oliver, the video I just dropped, please play it and let's hear.
Mama shoulder.
Commander. Tell your boys there. As the regional minister, right? You can tell it here, but none of them can challenge you. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yo.
Subsequent to this, there was an agent of Ken Agyapong who had raised questions that the minister's comments that he was a regional minister also gave a certain atmosphere of intimidation to the agent. Now, is that the case? Are the status quo and the structure of the individuals appointed, they wanted to inflict some level of fear and a siege mentality on the opponents?
Roland, the video you showed is just the regional minister saying, I'm the regional minister.
Showing bravado.
I don't know what transpired. I don't know what caused him to even say I'm the regional minister. I don't know. So how am I supposed to watch a 30-second, 40-second video and pronounce judgment? But anyways, it's quite unfortunate, but because there's been an attempt the entire morning to malign the entire electoral process that transpired on Saturday. Every attempt this morning on this platform has been an attempt to create the impression that the entire process was warped, was violent, and it's quite shocking. You are a journalist. Is that the impression you got? That out of the 17 stations, one incident defines the entire electoral process? Was your impression that you got the entire Saturday was that the election was a violent election? Come on, let's be fair. You sit here, Eduji, and talk about insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians. You elected a candidate who has been voted out twice by Ghanaians, John Mahama. What more is insulting than that? Bawumia has not contested for Ghanaians to pass judgment on him, but John Mahama has twice. Ghanaians have said we don't want him, but yet you have elected him.
What has John Mahama got to do with
I am telling you heard him talking about intelligence, that electing Bawumia is an insult to the intelligence of Ghanaians. And I'm telling you that if that is the case, then they did it first. Because in Mahama's case, he has been elected twice. I mean, he has been denied twice by Ghanaians. How do you present a man who has been denied twice? That is more of an insult to Ghanaians, if you don't care to know. Now, let me come to some of the frivolous comments that Eduji was making. Talking about petition. The party has a convention, 2014, when we held the special delegate. It was held outside of Accra in various centers. The 9 aspirants felt that this time they wanted to be at one center. The election should be held at one center. That is not the process. Nevertheless, the committee said, we will hear you. They actually sat and voted. And the final decision was that we will continue with the status quo of holding the elections at various centers. How do you come and sit here and peddle lies? Outright lies. It's unfortunate. Then he talks about thuggery. Eduji, be honest with yourself for once. The last election you held, the last few elections the NDC held, did you not report instances of violence? Did you not report instances of attacks? Did we come and sit here and say that the entire process was bad because of those various instances? I'm asking you, did you not report instances of violence in the last 2 elections of the NDC? How do you come and sit here and hypocritically call other people thugs? John Mahama, your candidate, So he is the owner of violence. And when it comes to unleashing violence, he's an expert.
When did he say that?
John Mahama has said it multiple times. You should check.
When?
He said the NDC.
When? Because I haven't heard it. So
you haven't heard John Mahama saying that when it comes to revolutionary roots, that they know how to unleash violence. You haven't heard it? What are you talking about, Roland?
He said that in context.
In what context?
That there was,
what context?
That there was violence being unleashed during elections.
What context? What context are you talking about?
And that they had chosen to be peaceful. And
if there is violence, Roland,
and that in context,
Roland,
if there was any entity that could,
please let me talk.
Take on the heart of this violence.
There are rules in this country.
LDG,
let me.
He said that in context.
Please, Roland. There are rules in this country. If someone unleashes violence, what do? You go to the police.
So you are saying the gentleman Alan
let me say what I'm
police.
saying. You don't say what I want to say. Let me say what I'm saying.
I'm saying
No. You let me say what I'm saying. If a person unleashes violence as a president, commander-in-chief, then you don't retaliate with violence. You go to the police. Mahama said
so you're saying the Alan K-man. Please show the Alan K-man. So you should go to the police.
Of course, you go to the police.
I see.
Of course, you allow the laws to work.
With all blood and
now ask yourself. No, you seem to hammer on this point so much, but the point is,
I'm not the one hammering on it. No. These are public issues.
You are the one telling the entire election.
We just spoke to Hininto. I cannot be the one who is saying this. You don't have to attack the host in this.
I'm not attacking
because all that I'm saying are based on sentiments and concerns being raised. I'm not the one. Just look on the screen. I'm not the one who put this there.
Roland.
No, it's okay.
Roland. Okay. How do you metamorphosize everything?
Because the way you are swinging the narrative.
You are denying it.
No, please.
What narrative have I swung?
No, because you are saying that there's a deliberate. We've cross-checked and also talked to individuals who represent the various campaigns.
Okay.
Indeed, we'll have on the line very soon somebody from the Ken Agyapong campaign team who also speaks for him, and he's a distinguished lawyer, and then who also will raise some of these concerns. So it's not as if that somebody of the imagination of anybody.
No. I am not saying don't raise concerns. Okay. Clearly, you are not listening to me.
I'm raising questions based on the concerns.
I am not saying don't listen to me. Okay. I mean, don't raise concerns. Okay. What I'm telling you is that you cannot take an instance which is yet to be investigated and use that instance to define an entire election. That is the
instance is on the screen. Yes.
Just
pan your eyes and see it. Okay.
Who has denied the instance? That is why the party is investigating. Party is investigating it. But my point is the attempt to use one instance where a person made an angry attempt on a person and the person reacted, and you are using that instance to suggest that the entire process was wrong, was terrible, etc. That's the point that I'm making to you. That this is wrong. You don't do that. Absolutely not. To use one instance to define an entire election. It's wrong. Now, LDG talks about IMF money. Please, we have processes in place when it comes to resources we get from the IMF, etc. How can you sit here and say that President Akufo-Addo is going to take IMF money?
No, it's Hope Senadoye said it.
Yeah, but he's drumming it. You see, LDG and I, right?
Maybe drumming.
No, LDG and I, okay? LDG and I. When we come and sit here, we hope to engage in a conversation that provides education to Ghanaians. Because you know, that is not simple like that for anybody to go and take IMF money to go and run an election. And then you cited Ohininto that people didn't earn their money. Do you know what's interesting in the Hobson video? Hobson rather alleged that somebody has paid money. And then in the same video admitted that they paid money. Did you hear that part? That they paid money, but their money was small. So he was alleging in one instance, and then in another instance, he was making a statement of confirmation that they paid money. My question to Nana Ohininto is that there are MPs, there are ministers following Honorable Ken.
Let's speak to
Honorable.
Mr. Charles.
Let me land.
Please.
Let me land.
Do you want to host the program?
No, but
I'll give you your chance.
Land.
You'll continue after this. Please relax. Now, let's speak to. He's a legal practitioner, by the way. Charles Amodate. Good morning to you. You speak for the Agyapong campaign. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you, Lawyer Date.
Good morning, Roland. How are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm privileged for you to speak to me. Now, comprehensively, the issues that were itemized and raised during the period of the voting process by your lead candidate, that's Ken Agyapong, how do you think, based on the position and observations you've made during the period of election, sought to mar the efforts of your candidate and then also the election? And then which are those incidents that you have noticed as a campaign team?
All right, Roland, because your last doesn't care about. Tell me about the incident that happened in Northeast. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking me about the incident that happened in Northeast?
Yes, about those incidents apart from the Northeast incident, and then those others that you think that also sought to hurt the efforts of your presidential candidate.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, we seem to be having some difficulties with the line. Please continue. We'll try and reestablish that.
The point that I was making was that
you've given him.
no, you give me what you spoke for a long time.
You gave him.
No, please, Edwin. Please, he has 3 more minutes. Let's
Look.
end.
3 more minutes.
Yes.
Edigi cited Nana Ohininto, saying that there are people following the vice president.
He didn't say. No, he need to said it.
You were here.
Yeah, I heard him, and Edigi cited him, okay, and emphasized on it. And I'm trying to point it out that one, there are people who are ministers, etc., MPs, who are also following Honorable Alan Martin. Now, in the video you played of Hobson, he alleged that somebody has paid money and then made a categorical statement that his camp have paid money. That was a categorical statement. My question to Honorable Ohininto is that the money Hobson says they paid, was that also money from ministers who didn't earn it?
Which ministers?
The ministers who are following Honorable Alan Martin.
Which are the ministers following?
He knows. I'm not going to mention names here. He knows.
Oh, you are saying it. He hasn't.
He knows. Honorable Ohininto knows that there are ministers following Alan Martin. So the monies they paid, according to Hobson, were that monies they did not earn? Look, when we get the platform to say things, let's think through the issues very well. Because one thing, you find yourself in the position of accusing people, and you find yourself in the position of doing the very same thing you're accusing people of.
Okay, so Lawyer Data is back. You speak for the Agyapong campaign. Good morning to you. So can you respond to my question then? Lawyer Data.
Good morning, Roland.
Yeah, good morning. Please go ahead.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clearly. Please go ahead with my question. I'm sure my question also was clear.
So we are okay with where we are with this particular election, and the determination of the Special Electoral College was to select out of the 10 top 5, and in fact we came within the top 5. It is not being second or being first or being third that is important to us. What is important is that we qualified to be within the top 5 of the 10. So at the moment we are just getting ready, going to focus on the base of the pyramid, which is the delegates, the polling station executives. That is where our focus is going to be. So now that this is over, what is next to us, what is important to us is an election that is going to elect the one who should bear the flag for the party. And we have the confidence and belief that since our message is very clear and it has touched the heart and mind of the polling station executives, we know for sure that 4th November, Kennedy of Agyapong will emerge a winner. But so far, what happened over the weekend, some of the incidents were not all that lawful, were not all that impressive. You know, people just behave the behavior. Some of the aspirant followers were very abnormal, and it went against the rules of engagement. It violated the rules of engagement, and which Kennedy or Agyapong spoke very well against those things. He kicked against those things because he believes in the rule of law. He's a law-abiding citizen, and therefore, if anything goes against Ghanaians, if anything goes against the law, he will definitely come out and speak against. So that's exactly what he did.
Okay. Based on all that he raised, just in a minute, does that mean you have fears or concerns based on what you have recorded and then also seen? Does it mean that you have fears going into the November 4 election? And what are those concerns that you think the party hierarchy needs to address?
We are not afraid of anything, because in competition, one has to go into a competition fully prepared. That is what Honorable Agyapong meant by, I will give you a showdown. A showdown means I'm coming in fully prepared. A showdown means I will give you a run for your money. A showdown means that I will outcompete you. And therefore, the incident that has happened, I will not permit them to happen again.
Okay.
So we are fully, we have never been afraid of anybody, because we are focused. We know what we are talking about. We are fully prepared. We are ready. We have always been ready. And therefore, in competition, you know, you don't have to look at what others are doing. Yes, you need to know what others are doing in order to improve upon your strategy. So our strategy is just targeting the base of the pyramid, just talking to the grassroots, just making sure that we are on the same page with them. And so we are not afraid. We are focusing on the end of the goal. We are focusing on the end line. And everything that we are going to do between today and 4th November will be geared towards capturing a bigger share of the market, a bigger share of the delegates.
Okay.
That is our strategy.
All right, thank you very much. Lawyer Charles Amudate speaking to us there.
Roland, Roland, let me just respond quickly to certain issues. You see, my brother here says John Mahama had lost 3 elections. Is it the case your memory is faint?
Why? Why do you say that?
His boss, the man who gave him appointment, Mr. Akufo-Addo.
He's our president.
Yes. Was the MPP presidential candidate for the 2008 election, correct?
And so what?
Oh, please. Correct.
Yeah, sure.
2012, who was the candidate?
He was.
So if it's about a person who had been rejected, Akufo-Addo is senior in that. But it did not stop the people of Ghana, at least, from
comparing orange
please calm down. When
someone
you are talking,
was a candidate
I sat down quietly,
fighting to be a presidential candidate, and you are comparing that person to a person who contested an election. What are you talking about?
I listen to you.
Do proper analysis. Come on.
And in the 2 elections, Bawumia was the partner to him.
What 2 elections?
2008, who partnered Akufo-Addo?
Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia.
2012, who partnered him?
Same.
You see, unless, of course, you have memory loss, don't go on that tangent.
No, I will go on that tangent.
But you see, and let me make the point once again. On Ghana Web today, lawyer William Kusi, the head of communication of the Agyapong campaign, says Bawumia is paying 50,000 Ghana cedis to regional chairman. That's instructive. 50,000. I've listened to Hope Nadoye, and you were standing by him when he was making the comment that our chief of staff was seen directly making payments to delegates. He alleges $100,000, $5,000, among other things. How much is the salary of Madam Freema Opare? So when Nana Ohinto says that appointees of Mr. Akufo-Addo are sharing monies that they have not earned, you can connect the dots. And that is the record. You can't run away from it.
The record.
In fact, today, this morning, what you have even tried to do is to justify it by saying that, Hobson, you said we all paid.
No, then you didn't listen to me well.
Oh, please.
I said he made one allegation. He made one allegation.
But in all of this, it is clear evidence of inducement by all the aspirants. So the very process that is putting forward an MPP candidate is one clearly that demonstrates that they are willing to destroy the democratic gains that we have collectively made. As for the violence, in fact, there is a particular radio station in Tamale. They actually put out there that the Northern Regional Chairman of MPP, Chairman Samba, on the campaign, the election area, slapped Alan Chamantin's campaign coordinator, the popular Jack Sparrow. And he also returned fire. So it was slap for slap there. You see, this morning you have tried to, in a very disingenuous way, say, oh, John Mahama has said NDC. We saw a situation where an election that is supposed to be peaceful, I also West Wagon, Akufo-Addo, as the chair of the National Security Council, deployed.
No, when did Mahama say that?
Oh, please.
When did he say that?
Be calm. This morning, be calm.
When did he say that?
Look, Akufo-Addo,
try to.
as the chairman of the National Security Council, deployed armed national security task led by Azuku or whatever they call it, to unleash violence.
But it's not the president who deployed.
No, he's the chair of the National Security Council. No, I beg you.
So we have to put it.
No, that is why he's the head of the council.
Okay.
And those
are making those inferences.
And those armed men came directly from the National Security Council Secretariat, led by no other person than Azugu, who Akufo-Addo had recently even promoted. When those men decided to unleash violence on innocent Ghanaians participating in the legitimate electoral process, H.E. John Dramani Mahama then said, if this conduct is unchecked going into the 2020 election, it portends violence. And it was his response to the violence that was unleashed at Ayawaso. That was where he made that comment. And lo and behold, like John Mahama being the prophet, early in 2020 election, Akufo-Addo had to kill by the use of the military and please, I am very serious. Oh, listen, I'm making a full statement.
No, what are you talking about?
I am saying that.
No. How can you allow him to say Akufo-Addo had to kill? Who did Akufo-Addo kill? Who did Akufo-Addo kill? No, you cannot make that statement here. Who did Akufo-Addo kill?
We lost 8 lives in the election. There was no way. No.
Who did Akufo-Addo kill?
No.
Come on, no, it's wrong.
No, please relax.
It's wrong.
Relax, please. No. We lost 8 people in that election. Making such inferences and naming the president as the individual, the protagonist or the antagonist, the one who killed such people, is unsavory for a morning show program.
Listen,
please, can you?
No, please. I was making a statement.
No, but you cannot say that. You cannot say that.
No, you cut me short.
No, please relax. Let the tempest cool off, and then please. The president, as we all know as today, is not the one who killed 8 people. So 8 people died. Up to now, even this morning, I made commentary that we still do not know the perpetrators of them, and that it shows the lack of commitment from government. You can say, i.e., the president. That's fine.
You see, the government, led by Akufo-Addo, allowed armed men, security men of the state, to brutally murder 8 innocent Ghanaians.
That's fine.
Roland, that is not fine. What is fine about that comment? What is fine about that comment?
Please listen to me.
He has withdrawn from that statement.
When did the government categorically allowed military men to kill people?
The 8
What are we talking about
the
here?
matters of democracy.
These people died from that.
The matters
No.
of
There's a
democracy.
difference between people dying
to me.
and saying that a
you
government
can't distract me.
instructed
I'm very
for people to be killed.
You know me.
He's saying a government
You are my friend,
instructed
you know me.
for people
I am
to be
very
killed.
focused.
That is wrong.
In order
You
for
are focused on
Akufo-Addo,
falsehood. That's what you are doing.
He says that
in
you're
order
focused
for
on
Akufo-Addo
He said you are
to
focused on
retain
falsehood.
power in the
Kofi Tonto say
2020
you are focused
election,
How can you say
his
something like
government
that?
superintended the killing of 8 innocent Ghanaians. And today, Akufo-Addo has not demonstrated any commitment to find the perpetrators of this heinous crime. 8 innocent Ghanaians. They were slaughtered openly. Their only crime is to participate in our electoral process. And I call them the martyrs of democracy, that they were brutally murdered. If Akufo-Addo, to demonstrate his innocence, he ought to be putting up a commission or an investigation in how those 8 Ghanaians were brutally murdered. He should be worried.
No,
it could be any one of us.
You should be worried.
Because that day, the
Hold
only
on, I
reason
think
why
I
they were
deserve the
brutally,
chance to speak.
the
He's
only
spoken for
reason
so
why they
long.
were brutally murdered is that they were at
Energy
the
and for
point
me.
of collation of results. How is that a crime? That requires extrajudicial killing. In Ghana, the only way a person can be killed is by the lawful orders of the court. 8 Ghanaians were killed. And I am saying that the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and you see, let me conclude here.
Can I have a chance to
the
speak?
election of the speaker, how Akufo-Addo, as the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, for the first time in the history of this country, allowed armed men to storm parliament.
Aduji,
That was a coup.
Roland, can I have a chance to speak?
And that is the conduct of the Akufo-Addo administration. So this thing that I said has historical, factual basis, and is there.
Bogus attempt.
I am done
Your
with you.
bogus attempt
I am
to malign
done-
this whole process.
I am done with
by
you.
itemizing falsehood. No, let me speak.
Akufo-Addo has
Aduji, let me speak.
demonstrated beyond reasonable
You've
doubt.
spoken. Let me
He
speak.
has demonstrated
Your bogus
beyond
attempt.
reasonable doubt.
No, let me speak.
That this guy,
Come on.
please, that
You've
this
made the
guy
point. You've
will not.
Can you allow
and
me
you
to
see,
talk?
let the warning sign be there. Christian
What warning
Council,
sign?
Please.
Christian
Osimaye kom na mi hwewo kom na ma ya busiafo me did your boy Frank Naro se nwunu jo na me dwodwo me ho na me da makonwom a me hwe channel bi aka Joseph Mensa TV eho na ye papa no.
Well, this is your man the SLY. Keep watching Joe Mensa TV. Ashafuani atiefo. Don't get it twisted. Keep it locked. Our TV ya so dey be our tamasha. Ahia na go.